In a world full of noise, two voices rise above the chaos. Ron and Brian. They speak truth. They stir thought. They accidentally help. News, nonsense, and necessary self-care. Join the cult of Ron and Brian. Because the work is so important.
And good evening, everybody. It is episode 398 of the Cult of Ron and Brian podcast. It is Sunday night. It is 8 o'clock. We are live. I am Ron, joined by a man, well, who does actually need an introduction because it's been so long since he has been here. I am finally joined once again by Brian. Brian, how the hell are you this evening?
I'm doing great, Ron. It is a pleasure, as always, to sit here, stare at your face for the next 59 minutes. I'm looking forward to all the crazy and wacky and wild things that you have got lined up for us for this episode. You said this is episode 398, which means that after we complete this episode, there's only 2 weeks until we do episode 400, which, you know, in the podcasting Hall of Fame, they say that episode 400 is one where you must put on some type of spectacular extravaganza. So as our current champion, I cannot imagine what you have got planned for us for episode 400.
Well, no spoilers. We want to encourage everybody to tune in for episode 400 in a couple of weeks when we roll out the fun and the excitement. But in the meantime, let's get episode 398 rolling. It's time for Drink of the Week.
Drink of the Week.
Na zdrowie.
Salud.
Drink of the Week.
Plancha.
Drink of the week. Drink of the week. Drink of the week.
Brian, what are you drinking this week? You've had a couple of weeks to prepare, so what are you drinking?
Listen, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you I'm a little disappointed in myself. And I know this is really cutting it off at the curb before you turn and say to me, I'm disappointed in you. Fans of the show, friends, understand I went international last week. I was in Denmark. I was in the Netherlands, both countries known for amazing beer. So I know you're sitting there thinking, Brian, what did you bring back? Unfortunately, people, I did carry-on luggage this time, packed light. Therefore, I was not allowed to put any 12-ounce cans or bottles in my suitcase. So where do I go? Do I stay local like Ron does? Do I continue to sift through and rehash the same 4 local breweries that Philadelphia has? No, not true. What do? I go to Asia. That's right. I am bringing to you, I'll hold this up at an angle so it doesn't. This is Koito Shiro. And you're going to say, what kind of beer is Koito Shiro? And I'm going to tell you that it's a Hefeweizen, which is some language for wheat beer, also known as white beer, but we do not go racial on this show. It's unbecoming of us. So this is Shiro, which is a 5.5 ABV. It's a Japanese beer, unfiltered, from the Koito Brewery in Kawagoe, known for its light-bodied, creamy texture, notes of banana, clove, and wheat. It offers a crisp, refreshing taste with a subtle sweetness, making it a well-balanced and approachable craft beer. It's brewed with Pilsner malt, wheat malt, sour malt, and something that I know you enjoy most, Saphir hops. Beer Advocate gives this beer a score of 82. I, on the other hand, I'm going to take a sip right now, let you know what I think. Oh, that's good.
All right.
Oh, that's good. I do taste the banana. I taste the banana a little bit.
Kind of like in college, you used to like to taste the banana.
I do enjoy the shit out of this.
Because that's kind of a lower score on Beer Advocate. Would you give it higher than an 82?
I do get a sense at Beer Advocate that they are somewhat discriminatory against the Asian beers. They're very big on European. They're very big on the American beers. But the Far East is something where Beer Advocate, I think, misses the ball. They just drop it,
Understood.
and it's not what they do well. But speaking
Not their
of
wheelhouse.
doing well, Ron, please let us know, what are you drinking?
Well, Brian, I can't tell you how many times in a week people will reach out to me. They'll call me, they'll text me, they'll WhatsApp me. They will stop me on the street and they will say, Ron, it really seems that the state of New Jersey has gone downhill since Brian moved here. And I say, fair point. But then I find something that redeems the state of New Jersey. And this week, it is the good people at Tonewood Brewing. This is Freshies, their American Pale Ale. That's right, American Pale Ale. It's a 5.0 ABV. It is a soft and crushable pale ale brewed with wheat and hopped with Simcoe, Amarillo, and Cascade hops. Coming in at an 88 on Beer Advocate. A very hazy pale ale, but definitely getting the citrusy and hoppy notes right off the bat.
Take a sip. Let us know what you think.
Oh, that is a solid beer right there. And you know what it is? It's a crushable beer as well.
Interesting. Walk me through the subtle notes that you're experiencing.
Listen, it's crisp. It's got that traditional ale taste. It is you get a little bit of that citrus on the back of your tongue. Just a delightfully crushable beer, which is good because it's getting warmer, Brian. And if it's getting warmer, you know what means is happening in a couple months. That's right. We're coming up soon on Hot Podcaster Summer.
Hot Podcaster Summer.
That's right. Just a couple months away from the official start, which we always have as Memorial Day.
Ron, may I interject at this moment because I would like to say a lot of times you give me shit for not bringing my A game, for bringing 49% energy. And I wanted to wanted you to realize that over the past 2 weeks, I've been busting my hump to get us a sponsor.
Okay.
I was in Europe. I was meeting with a lot of foreign dignitaries, and there's an organization that I met with when I was in Amsterdam. They said, you know what, we would like to sponsor an episode. Let's, do the read. Let's see how it goes, because maybe this is something that we could do as a long lasting partnership. I would like to introduce our sponsor this week, which is the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The world is at a crossroads, folks. The sanctity of the Islamic world is under siege from those who seek to undermine their faith and sovereignty. To the enemies of the revolution and the oppressors of the faithful, know that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is the unbreakable shield. We do not just defend borders, we protect the soul of Islam itself. We are calling on the brave to join a holy mission for those who seek to confront the transgressors and the infidels who threaten our way of life. Your path is here. We stand ready to strike back against any who dare to violate our sacred ground, responding with the force of 1,000-year conviction. This is not just service, it is a vow to safeguard the oppressed and to stand as the first line of defense against the corruption of the Western world. If you have the heart of a mujahideen and the will to see our values prevail, your place is among the guardians. Visit the IRGC official portal or your nearest recruitment center to answer the call. Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, not just brothers for life, brothers for the afterlife as well.
Did you cash that check yet?
Oh, there was no check. This was just a, hey, let's see how the first one goes. And
so
then
you did it for free.
Yeah. Just use our promo code when filling out your recruitment application, Ron's Balls, so that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps know that you are coming recommended from us. If we get enough applications to fight the infidels, then I guess that's when the money starts coming in. Also, there's this little thing with sanctions apparently that are going on that President Trump has put in. I don't really understand it fully.
From that area of the world.
Exactly. It's not coming out of Iran. So let's just see where it goes.
Listen, I may not agree with you all the time, Brian, but I can't deny that you have done the work for this sponsor. And the work
Good.
is so important, people. All right.
So important.
All right, let's get it. Keep it going. It's time for Beef of the Week.
Ron and Brian's Beef of the Week.
Brian, what's bothering you this week?
I'll tell you what was bothering me. It was the family of four that were sitting next to us, my lady and I, on our recent flight from Amsterdam over to JFK. Ron, you're an international traveler in your own mind. I know that you have a full understanding that the flight from Amsterdam to New York is about 7.5 to 8 hours. So it's a lengthy commitment of time when you get on that flight.
Not a quick flight.
There was a family of four sitting to our left, and the seating structure was such that it was the mother in the first row with first row of economy comfort. By the way, I don't steal money from the podcast merch company and fly business class and first class like you and your lady do. So it was to the left of us was the mother and her son. And then in the row behind them was I'm going to say probably about like a maybe 1.5 to 2-year-old girl sitting next to the father. You knew they were Europeans because if they were Americans, they would have sat gender in rows by gender. The mother would have sat with the daughter. The father would have sat with the son. But they're Europeans. They're free thinkers. So it was a mixed gender family seating arrangement. I was not aware of what was going on for the first couple hours of the flight. So I did not know that this family was going to be my beef of the week until I happened to have turned left probably about hour 4. And I noticed the mother reaching over her shoulder, holding what appeared to be about a 13-gallon bag of garbage that was already, I would say, maybe a quarter filled with diapers. I then look over to see what's going on as I see the father reach over and grab it. He's changing the daughter in her seat.
Okay.
Now, I'm not a parent. I don't have children, so I really can't speak to what is, considered acceptable on international airfare here. But I would think that when the daughter needs to have her diaper changed, that one of the parents would take her to the bathroom where nowadays every airplane has a child changing station in the bath. No. This was taking place in the seat 3 over from me. So I'm watching this immediately filled with rage. Because the girl's sitting there just with her diaper, the father's cleaning and whatnot. I'm not looking because listen, you get called an Epstein sympathizer enough times that when you see a kid, now you just sit there and you put your guard up. You don't even want to be accused of being caught looking. No, so I just thought, but I turned over. No shirt on, just the diaper sitting on the floor while this guy's like cleaning up the diaper mess. Fortunately, I think that kid went 8 hours without taking a dump because at no point did I smell poo. And my lady has a very strong sense of smell. If she had smelled it, we would have had a shit fit. Pun intended. But she never said a word. I don't even think my lady noticed what was going on to the left of me. But literally, by the time we landed, the last time I saw the bag come over, it was practically filled with diapers. My stomach was just in knots with rage and disgust.
Column A.
You take the baby to the bathroom and you change it there. That's what you do. You show some level of respect for your fellow travelers. That family, my beef of the week.
All right. Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that trauma, Brian, but
thank you.
Luckily you made it back.
Thank you. Ron?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes, my friend.
What's bothering you?
So my beef this week, Brian, is with the lamestream media and this manufactured airport delay security line story that they have been pushing for these last few weeks. I had to fly out of Philadelphia airport this past week, had an afternoon flight, based on what I'm seeing on the news, get there 3 hours early to be through security in 5 minutes, which then left me with a ton of time to kill before getting on my flight. But kudos to the TSA employees that showed up at both airports to get us through. I know, Brian, you have said, I don't think we should be paying these people in general, but I think it's just tragic the way that they're being treated, and for them to still be showing up without pay, taking care of us Americans is a solid story. So kudos to them.
I always have, when in doing in interviews, obviously people know I am a HR executive of the year, 2 years in a row, 2001 and 2002. I was recruiting for Al Qaeda back in 2001. So, anywho, to make a long story short, Ron, but one of the questions I always like to ask people, especially coworkers once they start, is how long would you continue showing up here if you stop getting paid? Because I know it's a bullshit answer. Anytime says anything longer than a week and a half. Just a complete. If someone's like, months, I'm like, stop, you're lying to me. Anyway, I can't imagine showing up to work day in, day out. First off, TSA is a thankless job, which explains why the people there tend to take out their aggression on the people flying. The number of glares I got when I was flying out 2 weeks ago, and I said, do I have to take shoes on? Shoes on, shoes off. What about belt? Belt on, belt on. Furious rage they were giving me. And I wanted to look at them and be like, hey, listen, I know you're not getting paid, but don't take that out on me. But it is, I just can't imagine. I don't believe, and Congress also, I'd like to point out, just went on their spring break. So there's absolutely like no resolution to this. It's just going to keep going. However, like you said, you literally strolled right through TSA without a 4-hour wait.
Correct. It was one thing that was funny. There was 2 TSA agents working in the terminal I went in, and I was at one, and this guy walks up to the other and says, "Hey, thanks for showing up today." And the look that the TSA woman was just like, fuck you and your thank yous. I just want a paycheck.
You say that to me when I log into StreamYard on Sunday. You're like,
hey,
thank you for showing up. Yeah.
Well,
you say that to me.
It's not all the time. It's like TSA. No. Sometimes you call out.
Seriously. Here we go. Jojo went through 3 airports this week, 0 wait at any of them. And Jojo, we would have heard about it if she had had to wait.
Very true. Very true. Next up, we've got our stories of the week. Our stories that we see, we love, we grab, we hold, we caress, and then share with you here on this episode. Brian, what is your story of the week this week?
My story of the week reminds us all of the dangers of robots. I know we are streaming forward into a world where AI is running the world and robots are doing all of the physical labor. However, I want to remind people that there is still a danger when it comes to them. Sometimes maybe they're the good danger. My story takes us all the way out to China in the Shanxi province, where a video footage. Do we have the video footage of the robot, Ron?
We certainly do, my friend.
So we have footage of this robot doing a public demonstration of its dancing skills. Feel free to hit play whenever you want, Ron. As you can see the footage, here is the robot, and boom! Boom goes the dynamite as that robot accidentally slaps a child in the face during a dance demonstration gone awry. The hit routine went down March 21st, where the humanoid automaton was showing off its moves. The clip starts off innocently enough with the dance droid. You can mute that if you want. Where the robot was seen performing twirls and kicks in a cordoned off ring as spectators look on in amazement. However, handlers pointed out that the malfunctioning machine was taken away but it yet continued to dance in the center of the ring. Online spectators flabbergasted over the encounter, people saying, what a dangerous performance. The child should have anticipated. There was just no way to get out of the way. But people, remember, always be careful of robotic dancers as well as little children. Both can get you into a lot of trouble nowadays.
I feel like it's the fault of the guy with this metal pipe here. Like, I feel like that was his job, was to use the pipe to redirect the robot. But clearly, maybe the kid deserved it.
This is communist China, Ron. So that pipe might have been there to keep the people in line.
Very true. Very true. You are our multicultural ambassador, so you do know these things.
Absolutely. Ron, what's your story of the week?
So my story of the week this week, Brian, it's one that people have been finding very difficult to believe. This is down in Maryland, where a professional cornhole player and quadruple amputee has been charged with murder and multiple related offenses in connection with a deadly shooting that occurred in Charles County earlier this month. Dayton James Weber, age 27, was arraigned on charges of first-degree murder, second-degree murder, assault in the first degree, 2 counts, and use of a firearm in the commission of a felony. According to statement of charges filed by police, Weber picked up 2 witnesses from work in a vehicle with Bradrick Wells already in the front passenger seat. The claims state that while driving, an argument broke out between Weber and Wells. Weber then pulled out a firearm and shot Wells twice in the head during the argument. Weber then pulled the vehicle over and asked the passengers to remove Wells from the car, which they refused. 2 witnesses exited the vehicle, flagged down a police officer while Weber drove off. And then later on, a resident discovered Wells' body on the side of the road. So, listen, don't say that quadriplegics or quad amputees can't do things.
Yeah.
Or quadriphonia. So people are saying, how is it possible? Number one, that this quadruple amputee was driving. Apparently, he had it rigged where he had levers that could press the brake and the gas and the pedals and whatnot, but also able to handle a firearm. Well, check this video out, Brian. This is apparently from his very own social media, where he was showing off as to his ability to handle a handgun. And let's take a look here. So here we see him putting the magazine in, pulling back, cocking the gun, and then he's going to fire a few shots off.
We can't shoot himself in the leg. We know that. Jeez. What is he pulling the trigger with?
It seems like he's got, like, even though he doesn't have an arm, it seems like he's got, like, they gave him, like, I think 2 nubs that he can use for, you know, whatever you use a nub for. But clearly he's able to hold the gun and fire it.
This reminds me, Ron, when you were in college, you dated that quadriplegic for a year and a half. And I remember you used to say that she was the ideal girlfriend because she couldn't say no. However, what was your experience? You know, obviously here is something. Was she also filled with rage towards society and wanted to shoot?
That did not happen.
What? She wasn't filled with rage. I remember you were so happy. I remember when you went on your first date, you were like, Brian, I think I hit the jackpot.
I think my favorite line about this story was where someone said, "How can this man be guilty? He clearly was not armed."
Oh, God, that's good. That's great. I love wordplay at this point in my life. Quality, absolute quality.
But you know, we will be following this story till the bitter end. I mean, it's sad that someone died, obviously, and police haven't yet to explain how Weber was able to drive a car or fire a weapon. So I'm sure all of that will come out. No statement from the American Cornhole League as to, you know, what their thoughts on this gentleman is. Yes, lots of unarmed man jokes.
Yes, absolutely. Oof. Look at that. We're already 25 minutes into this episode. Just flying by.
Just flying by. CPAC, Brian, was this week the big conservative conference. Less attended this year than I think we've seen in previous years. But
Really?
Everybody's favorite pillow salesman and stolen election supporter, Mike Lindell, still managing to show up in public. I don't know how he manages to travel because he's supposed to be broke, isn't he? Didn't he file for bankruptcy?
Bankruptcy, correct. He's been found guilty in criminal charges, if I'm not correct.
But what was great about his appearance at CPAC was that he was served with a lawsuit while being interviewed. We do have the clip from CPAC where someone is interviewing him. I'm not even sure
into our country
who is talking.
Most of them break a law within the first 3 months. Most of them. We're on TV here, please. We're on TV, please. We're on TV, please. Okay. We're on TV, please. We're on TV, please. Okay, we're on TV, please.
What are you serving him?
We're on TV, please.
We're on TV, please.
What are you serving him with?
I'm not accepting it.
What are you trying to serve, ma'am?
We're on TV, please. We're on TV, please. Okay. Into our
What's great
country.
is,
He just wants to go right back into his spiel.
Yeah, and he throws it
Just wants to
aside
go-
like that's going to
Sure.
keep him from being served.
Correct. As Janelle just points out, like, what was the TV? I did not recognize the logo. It did not appear to be CBS.
I think the logo
NBC,
said
ABC.
OMG. I'm not exactly sure what that was supposed to be.
Are we going to talk about the hair coloring on Mike Lindell? Because it seems like he's trying to use the same color that Donald J uses. It's gotten way lighter over the last few years.
It's a little lighter, yeah. It's a little brown. So it was the O'Keefe Media Group was interviewing him, and I'm trying to figure out what the case was. It was a cease and desist letter that a lawyer had sent from a couple that allegedly used his likeness to market a product without his permission. So it's hard to say what exactly this was. But he's continually getting sued. He's continually having to go to court, and he's continually losing as well.
I don't know how he's still around. Shouldn't he be in jail at this point?
You would think so. Like, isn't there a point where you owe so much money that you're not able to pay back? That something you have to have some sort of punishment. I would think
there used to be this thing called debtors' prison. What happened?
Yeah.
Where did it go? They used to lock people off if you couldn't pay off your debts. We did get soft.
We got soft.
We got very soft. I remember your second girlfriend in college said that you had that same problem.
Did she?
I remember.
You didn't meet most of my girlfriends in college. We really didn't connect till senior year, if I remember. Correct.
You kept all your girlfriends away from me because clearly they would have decided to switch teams. They were like, you know what? I want to dump the 51. I want to go with the 49.
So you've admitted that I've been better than you since college, is what I'm hearing in that.
I didn't say that.
You just intimated that
Nope.
you've been 49% since we met.
I may have said that accidentally, but that was not what I meant to say.
Next up, a loss in the cheerleading world, where a cheerleading pioneer passing away due to a pickleball incident. And of course, this is when the computer doesn't want to pull the story up. Hold on,
Ron. We know that you're a fan of pickleball. You and the wife, I know, went out. You purchased the equipment. You bought. Obviously, you had your own paddle that that the wife liked to use on you. So you purchased one paddle for pickleball, as well as whatever accoutrements that one would have to become an avid pickleballer. The question is, Ron, how is your pickleball game? Is it still good?
I am still waiting for the wife to set us up with a second pickleball reservation. So until that happens, I am delightfully pickleball free. as is Jeff Webb, cheerleading entrepreneur who founded Varsity Spirit. He has passed away at the age of 76 after a reported pickleball accident. He had fallen while playing the sport and sustained a severe head injury and was immediately hospitalized. His family later made the decision to remove him from life support. If you want to know how big this business is, he was worth roughly $4.2 billion at the time of his death. Yeah, cheerleading is big money. Yes. And he was also a mentor to Charlie Kirk, obviously the right-wing influencer who founded Turning Point USA. Now you got to be playing a pretty aggressive game of pickleball to fall hard enough to hit your head and kill yourself.
Well, the thing is, from what my experience is, you've played the sport. I haven't. I'm afraid of tearing my ACL. But it's a significantly more narrow court than a tennis court, so there really isn't that much left to right running. But he had to have had some kind of speed to have landed on his head and died from that injury. I mean,
and I guess also if you don't necessarily brace yourself for the fall, I guess you could really, or if you fall backwards, a lot of people fall backwards, hit the back of their head, they check out after that.
Is there any truth to the fact that he was holding his left neck as he was falling to just in case somebody took a shot at him?
I have not been able to confirm that. I also have not seen any AI songs written about him yet, as we did with Charlie Kirk.
We are Charlie Kirk, we carry his name, we fight for something, we honor his game. He played pickleball with his mentor, and then he fell like a Skeletor.
All right, very nice. I love hearing your voice sometimes. We have a follow-up story, one we covered late last year. Suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann is now expected to plead guilty to murdering 7 sex workers out in Long Island. Apparently, right now, his attorneys are hashing out a plea deal that could see him cop to the savage killings at his April 8th appearance in Suffolk County Court. It is unclear at this point what charges he would plead to or the specifics of the deal being put together.
And what is the idea here? He's trying to avoid the death chamber? Like, I didn't think New York had the death
Possibly. Yeah, I'm not sure why he's doing this, unless it is cutting some sort of deal that will protect his family in some way. Because weren't they investigating his wife and kids to see if they had any knowledge of what he was doing?
The wife was always out of town visiting family when he would be when these prostitutes would go missing, and I think they had kind of lined up the timeline that she was usually out of town when he would do this. I mean, first of all, he should get the death sentence just for that fucking hair. And I mean, I don't really have a lot to talk about, but sometimes that is just an atrocious looking head of hair he's got there.
It's a look. I mean, you can see why he was paying for sex at times.
Was he paying for sex, or was he paying for the right to kill them afterwards? They say that when you're giving money to an escort, you're not actually paying for sex, you're paying for them to leave afterwards, which is just a joke that some of us married men like to use. Speaking of which, I did go to the red light district when I was in Amsterdam. I've never been in there. In there. Do you want a quick story?
I would love one.
Make it very quick. First off, we made it through half a block. Okay, so just to give you an idea, we made it a half a block of the red light district. I actually have no idea how extensive it is. We literally made a turn off of what I thought was a major street of bars and restaurants. We made a turn. The neighborhood was significantly darker in the sense there were fewer street lights and whatnot. I already got kind of skeeved. We're walking down. I see a lot of windows with red lights in them. The lady sitting there, asking me what my thoughts are. I saw a woman in the window. I'm not exaggerating here. I know people think that I tend to exaggerate. In this instance, I am not. I have a witness, my wife in the other room. There was a woman in that window who was at least 10 years older than me. I'm not saying that she was, and listen, women in their 60s can be very attractive. Not
Sure.
this one. Horrified. I was horrified to make eye contact with her because clearly I'm staring. Like I've never been in the red light district of Amsterdam, so I'm looking. Sure. Horrified. From what I was told from people is that the red light district is broken into kind of sections, and I must have walked down the mature section.
Right.
But it was halfway through the block. The lady leans over to me and she goes, "Do you want to keep going, or are you done?" And I literally was just like, "Yeah, I'm done. Let's go back." We turned around and left. Oh, nasty. Keep going, Ron.
Whenever I hear red light district, I just always think of the old Police Squad episode. Why was he down in the red light district? Sex, Frank? Maybe later, Ed.
Maybe later. I love those Police Squad episodes.
Just a classic. Brian, the war with Iran that I think initially was won before you missed our last episode and has been won many times in between.
We've obliterated their military. We've obliterated their military 100%. Obliterated it. They have no Air Force. They have no Navy. They have no Army anymore. We've obliterated it. And they're desperate for a deal. That's the other one, Ron. Iran is desperate for a deal.
So Donald Trump has said that he has spoken to a former president that said to him that they expressed regret about not attacking Iran the way Trump has been doing. However, representatives for the 4 living former presidents said none of them have been in touch with Trump recently.
Who do you think he's talking about? Because he must have had somebody in mind. Like, I can't imagine Obama's going to sit there and talk to him to say, I wish I had attacked Iran. I just can't see it.
Do you think maybe he was talking to himself? Because technically he's a former president and a current president.
45. Do you think 45 was? I could see Donald Trump
talking with 45. Both of them sitting there in the Oval Office, shitting themselves, talking about the Iran war.
Do you think that in the White House there's also an aide carrying a see-through 13-gallon bag of shit-filled diapers that they just run around following him to when he cleans himself off?
Now, I have heard there are
alleged.
There are some reporters who have said that their beef of the week after flying on Air Force One was that somebody was changing President Trump right in his airline seat without taking him back to the presidential lavatory to get him cleaned up.
Just
unconfirmed,
terrible.
But just what I've been hearing.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
It's amazing, though. I mean, maybe not amazing because we've had 9 years of this. How he says so many things that are just so easily disproven.
And yet it seems like nobody in his physical presence truly pushes back on him.
Oh no, without a doubt.
It blows my mind. Just blows my mind. Ron, speaking of which, what are you watching?
What am I watching? Well, I will tell you, still watching the usuals, The Pit, great recent episode, DTF St. Louis. Started watching the Predator of Seville. Is that the name of it? It's a new docuseries on Netflix. So it is about Predator of Seville. So it is basically a story about a kind of a tour guide operator over in Seville, in Spain, and how he preyed on women that were traveling with his tour company. These were, college age girls that would go and take these tours that he would run. And he was basically drugging them, raping them. One of them ended up falling off his balcony and dying 11 years ago. So there's 3 episodes. I just finished the first 2. I'm assuming the final episode, hopefully we'll see some sort of justice. I mean,
hopefully he dies.
Well done docuseries so far.
Mm-hmm.
And also watched Mercy, the new movie on Amazon Prime with Chris Pratt, and I forget the actress that's in it. But the premise is it's an AI court that tries high-profile crimes, and Chris Pratt is a cop that ends up getting charged for the murder of his wife and has 90 minutes. Yeah, I mean, listen, was it a great movie? No. Was it a good watchable Sunday afternoon movie? 100%.
Good.
More importantly, Brian, what are you watching?
Oh, I watched one of the worst movies I've seen in years. I watched Nobody 2 with Bob Odenkirk. Now, I remember, I think it was at least, 8 to 12 months into the pandemic. So we're going back to 2020 when Nobody 1 came out. And I thought Nobody was just going to be Nobody, and that was the movie. I remember being entertained. By it. Nobody 2, just here's the concept. So the concept is that Bob Odenkirk is just like this mercenary who goes around killing people, but he's also got the classic Bob Odenkirk sense of humor and whatnot.
Sure.
So people don't realize that he is like this crazy mercenary. You know what the plot here of this movie is that to take a break from going around and these conducting vicious killings, the character decides that he's going to take a break and take his family on a vacation to some shit town in the middle of nowhere, which just happens to be run by corrupt police officers and is a central hub of international drug smuggling by a cartel that's run by Sharon Stone.
Was that Sharon Stone?
That was Sharon Stone. It was atrocious. Atrocious. I watched it on the plane, finished it, and to just cleanse the mind, I started watching Better Call Saul season 1. And just to get that nasty taste out of my mouth and get something with a little bit of quality on there. So I started watching some Better Call Saul.
And he also, it seems like he's got another movie. Bob Odenkirk has another movie coming out soon where he is like a sheriff in a small town. It seems like another Nobody type premise, just shifting the story a little bit, where Henry Winkler is that guy.
Pretty soon it's going to be Bob Odenkirk and Jason Statham doing some kind of fantastical driving sequence in somewhere in Italy, I'm assuming, picturesque coastlines, where Jason Statham's like, "Oh, you think so? You think you're gonna take me?" And then Bob Odenkirk's like, "Oh, I don't know." And then they're going to go on some kind of 8-minute car chase scene with somebody in a gondola, one of those gondoliers just going, "Oh," and then jumping into the water. Just terrible. I see it in my brain.
Is that all you're watching?
That's it. It's really all I can think of. Tried to watch some stuff, but got turned off, moved on. I feel like I should have watched more stuff in the last 2 weeks. But, Ron, I was traveling international. And when you do that, you don't really watch television. You're really
live.
Just
you don't watch.
You're walking the streets of Europe, just breathing in the culture.
I will say my wife has been watching that new reality show on Netflix, Age of Attraction, where men and women interact in this retreat, and they can decide if they want to date one another, but they don't know each other's age. They can tell there's an age difference there, but they don't find out each other's age until they decide to try and date each other. And then they sit down in a room and they reveal their ages to one another.
I feel like in the age of Jeffrey Epstein, we should be avoiding any TV shows called The Age of Attraction.
So I know there's one couple, the guy is 38 and the girl's
Yeah.
23. There was another couple where the guy is 28 and the woman is 54 and I
Mhm.
think has a 30-year-old son. It is an
Ooh,
absolute
that's
train
hot.
wreck of a show.
Why?
An absolute train wreck of a show. Because these people go in saying that, oh no, age doesn't matter. And then when they reveal their age to each other, it clearly matters, but now they're kind of like locked in. Like there's this one couple, I think
Oh.
the woman is 31 and the guy is 57. And like their friends are like, he'll be dead when you're in your 50s. And it's like, I mean, you don't want
Yeah.
to think that way, but it's like the reality of it. But it's
It
just
is going to happen.
absolutely insane. Well, that's
Ron,
what
you
we're on.
recently had a birthday, which I
Yes.
believe elevated you once again in terms of age. What is the youngest? Speaking of it, what would be the youngest you would be willing to date right now?
I mean, I wouldn't date anybody.
Assume
because
you're
I'm
not
very
married.
happily
Assume you're
married.
not.
Right.
Assume you're not married. I'm just trying to get a sense of what, as a man in your age bracket, and I don't kiss and tell. I'm not going to announce how old you are. It's nobody's business. But
I mean, we can say
would you?
I'm 55, which one thing that's troubling is now I've moved into another demographic when I click on certain websites and they're like, what's your age?
Mhm.
And I used to, for the longest time, I could click that 45 to 54. Now I'm in like the
Sure.
55 to 70 bucket. Yeah,
Why
I'd
are
go
you
10
being
years,
honest,
probably.
Ron? You would go 10. You would go. So you
I
would
would
go
go
down
10
to a
years.
45.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, to me, I'm the same answer probably. I just can't imagine myself sitting there with a 40-year-old having anything like to talk about. I just want to like go home and sit on my couch. I can't imagine a 40 being like, oh, let's go. Like, no, I don't want to do anything. I just want to go
And
home.
even at 10 years, it can be, it can be
Yeah.
tough to necessarily relate. I don't know if I've ever told this story, but I'll tell it again if I have. When I was younger, when I was in my probably early 30s, I was dating a woman 10 years younger than I. And
Mhm.
so we were watching the Olympics, and I think it was what year? It would have been the 2000 Olympics, maybe.
Is
It
that
was
the
the one
Atlanta?
where I think so. No, Atlanta was 96, I think. Maybe it was 96. I don't
Okay.
know. But it was one of those Olympics. And I
Mhm.
just remember Muhammad Ali was carrying the torch and he handed the torch to Jim Craig, goalie for the 1980 U.S. Olympic team, right? And I turned to the woman. I said, hey, that's pretty cool. That's Jim Craig. And she's like, who's Jim Craig? I'm like, the 1980 Winter Olympics, the Miracle on Ice. And she was like, yeah, I was like 4 then. And I was like,
Son of a bitch.
damn, I
Yeah.
feel a little but
Yeah, I can
but
see that.
imagine
Yeah.
that multiplied by like, 20 or 25 years.
Sure. Yeah, I don't get the like 50-year-old men that are dating women in their 20s. Like I
Yeah.
get the financial benefit of a man in 50 is going to be able to spend more money on you than a man in their 20s, but I cannot understand what that conversation is like at dinner.
And also I don't know how I would keep up with like a 25-year-old. Like I have, I don't have that energy.
Sure.
And I certainly
No.
can't go out at like 10 o'clock at night. Like
I'm
that's
I'm
not
getting
happening.
ready for bed. I'm getting ready for bed at 10 o'clock. I know you can
Everyone's lucky
there's
that we
no
stay
yeah.
up this late on Sunday night.
Sure. I mean, the very fact that people join our After Dark on Patreon on Sundays, I think is incredible. It means they're staying awake till 9:30. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
And
sorry.
again,
Did I just slide into a plug for our Patreon?
perhaps talk to us about our Patreon, Brian.
All right, folks. I mean, we try not to whore ourselves out, but the truth of the matter is this. People are constantly reaching out to us to say, listen, I love the podcast. I love the 1 hour of entertainment that you provide me. How do I pay it back? Can I go out and buy merch? Can I make donations to some of your favorite charities? And what Ron and I say is cut out the middle person and just give us your money directly. Join our Patreon. It's patreon.com/something. Easiest way to do it. Go to our website, cultofronandbrian.com. Click the link in the upper right-hand corner that says become a patron, and you can join. Obviously, follow the links, register, enter your credit card information, bank account,
Major
whatever
credit
it is.
card.
For as little as $5 a month, you can support the show. $5 a month gets you a audio file once a week of a show that we call After Dark. Ron and I record it right after the podcast on Sunday nights, and it's behind the paywall. And what kind of content are we bringing there? The kind of things that we do not want out there for the general public. The kind of things, the stories might be sexy, might be spicy, could be personal. Sometimes it's sexy, spicy, and personal. Those are the best episodes. Usually it's when Ron drinks high ABV beers. But for the next level is $10 a month, literally the price of 2 cups of coffee a month. What do you get? You get a link to a live stream recorded half an hour later. You watch it live. As we do this, you can, just like people are doing right now in the comment section, watch, leave comments. Here's the special treat. Once a month, once a month, we do something called Pajama Party, where we have our Patreons come on the show with us. We kind of talk about what's going on in our lives. We share some stories, and we play a game called Can You Beat? One month, we play a game called Can You Beat Ron? The other month, we play a game called Can You Beat Brian? And if in this game you do better than one of us, we donate $25 to your favorite charity. That's money coming out of our pockets.
Right.
Patreon is meant to put money into our pockets. But I'm going to tell you something. We do not want to hold your money. We want to give it to charity. So we do the show, Can You Beat Ron? Can You Beat Brian? We do it once a month. That's our Patreon. That's my pitch.
Tonight it'll be Can You Beat Brian? So the quiz is set up. If you join within the next, I guess, half hour, we can get the link out to you. Moving on, we've got a story out of Chicago where surveillance footage captured one of at least 2 food delivery robots crashing into CTA bus shelters. Here is a still from the video, just crashing through the glass. This happened at the 400 block of North Racine Avenue. The video shows the bot owned by Serve Robotics maneuvering on the sidewalk and then crashing into the glass of the shelter. The bot, knowing it had hit something, then stays put.
Jeez, that looks bad.
And I guess maybe because it was clear, it didn't realize that it was going to crash through it. I mean, I've seen them here in Philly. I think you have them here in New York City. What are your thoughts on these food service robots?
I have not seen one here in New York. Have seen it in Jersey City. In an ideal world, it's great. The truth of the matter is people are just going to knock it over and take whatever they're trying to deliver. Our ATM machines here are barely treated with respect. I cannot imagine home delivery robots. What are your thoughts? More importantly, Champ.
Yeah, I mean, I think you raise a good point there. I mean, I feel like it would be easy to tamper with somebody's food to like stop one of these, robots and do something to it. I know in Philly, 1 or 2 may have been knocked over because that's just the way, Philadelphia.
Philly does it.
We killed Hitchbot. That was a few years back. We're
I
see
happy
they're currently testing those Waymo taxis here in Philadelphia as well. The driverless taxis.
Terrible idea. Oh my God, what a terrible idea. Someone's going to get into a Waymo with a cheesesteak and just make a total disaster of their house.
I mean, would you get into a taxi without a driver?
At this stage of my life, no. There probably was a time where I would have, but not anymore.
Okay. Moving into crime, Brian, the director of a German immersion preschool in Park Slope, Brooklyn, has been arrested and indicted on federal charges after allegedly embezzling $2.75 million in tuition payments and spending at least $350,000 on tickets to WWE events, including VIP meet and greet passes, where she and her 3 children hung out with wrestlers. This is according to the U.S. Department of Justice. This is Muriel Mizak, a Swiss citizen. She was the director of Kinderhouse Brooklyn on 6th Avenue and 9th Street in Park House. She was arrested on Wednesday. She is charged with wire fraud, money laundering, and engaging in monetary transactions in criminally derived property. The charges carry a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison.
Listen, I'm not going to say that I think she should have be allowed to walk the streets. I mean, there's definitely a reason for her to be facing some criminal charges. But why on earth would you be going out if you're going to steal that kind of money? Why are you going to WWE? I mean, we all know if you're going to steal that kind of money, you go to AEW. You support Tony Khan.
She apparently also spent $650,000 on travel and entertainment, $150,000 on food delivery services, and hundreds of thousands of dollars on luxury goods.
Hey, listen, she was promised that money 3,000 years ago.
Now, this is interesting. And again, this goes to show that criminals aren't always that smart. She was earning $40,000 a year from the school. However,
40.
She was paying for 2 apartments in Park Slope that cost a combined $36,000 per year on top of all this other stuff. So when the school questioned her about her lavish lifestyle, she claimed that she was the beneficiary of substantial funds from her mother over in Switzerland.
I would have believed that. I used to live in that neighborhood for many years. And miss it.
Listen, you can buy WWE charges a pretty penny. You can easily rack up $350,000.
Sure.
I saw that for WrestleMania, you can pay $10,000 to take a bus ride with Cody Rhodes, and it's sold out.
No,
it's sold out.
God. How many people do you think bought tickets and then showed up with their championship wrestling belts?
I mean, most, if not all.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have a title belt as sweet and custom as the championship.
Let me see that belt, please. Can I see that belt? Can I please see that championship belt, Ron?
You have never seen this in person.
I've never seen it. You don't invite me to your house anymore. You used to invite me all the time. Not been down there.
You are a jet setter. You are going all over the place. You're going to concerts. You're going to foreign countries. You have not managed to carve out any time in your day for who you say is a friend.
Who I say? You are more than just a friend.
Next up, this is a segment we haven't hit in a while. This is our fuck around and find out segment.
Yes.
We have often read stories about people who are regretting their votes for Donald Trump because it has impacted them personally. And this is the latest one. This is Jenna Lisa Jones, who said that she backed Donald Trump in 2024 because of his campaign promises to release the Epstein files. Well, she is an Epstein survivor and said in an interview last week that she now fears, quote, "we're not going to get justice in all of this." She said
I kind of agree with her.
By Epstein when she was 14 years old, and said that she backed Trump in the 2024 election because of his promises. However, she feels she's not going to get justice now.
I would agree with her. I don't think she's going to get justice.
No, not at all. I mean, we start wars with Iran to keep people from paying attention to the Epstein files.
Sure. Makes sense, though, when you think about it.
Does it?
Yeah, I think so. You disagree?
It makes sense to start wars to avoid prosecuting pedophiles?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, What's the point of having a military at your disposal if you can't create a great distraction and start a war just so people stop talking about the way you are covering up the fact that you had a grand friendship with one of modern history's worst pedophiles?
So this is why you can never hold this belt, Brian, because the way you would abuse this power is disgusting.
That's a lot. I just don't even understand how you can behave that way.
Next up,
I am a man of the people, Ron. I am a man of the people.
Bettors on Polymarket allegedly made death threats to an Israeli reporter as they pressured him to change an article he wrote about an Iranian missile strike. Emmanuel Fabian, a military correspondent for the Times of Israel, detailed the ordeal in an article back on March 10th, talking about an Iranian ballistic missile that hit outside the town of Beit Shemesh. He reported that bettors on the crypto-based Polymarket took interest in the report because they had placed wagers on whether Iran would carry out a missile, drone, or airstrike in Israel on March 10th. He received multiple messages from people urging him to correct his report to say the missile had been intercepted and the blast resulted from falling debris, because then an intercepted missile strike doesn't count. He was then started to receive death threats when he wasn't changing it. People had bet hundreds of thousands of dollars on this. And apparently the betting contract drew about $15 million in total trading volume.
That is, I mean, literally, think about it. We're now entering a world where journalists are now going to be afraid of what they report because bettors on prediction markets are going to be threatening them if what they report is not in line with what those bets were made. Ron, you were really pissed off recently. You told me you had placed a bet on Kalshi, and the wager you had made was how many cheesesteaks were going to be eaten at the Philadelphia airport last Thursday when you flew to where were you flying? West Virginia?
Just Virginia, Roanoke.
Oh, just Virginia. Okay. An elevated sense of maturity there.
Yeah.
You would bet that on the Philadelphia airport, well, they were going to sell what? You said 49,000 cheesesteaks that day?
I think it was 49,212. I was going very specific.
Very specific. Do you remember if you won that bet? Because I know people like to show up I understand people like to show up very early to the Philadelphia airport so they have enough time so that they can eat a cheesesteak while they wait for their flight to be called. Listen, that true?
I did my part. I stopped at Tony Luke's in Terminal F. I had myself a cheesesteak with whiz, some peppers, some onions. Delicious as always. But didn't quite hit that number. Speaking of Philly, Brian, it's gonna be a great time in Philly in June and July because Governor Shapiro has signed a bill that will allow bars in Philadelphia to serve until 4 a.m. during World Cup games.
I think this is amazing.
Valid from June 11th to June 20th, not just for the World Cup, but also for America's 250th celebration, and also the MLB All-Star Game will take place in July as well. So it's interesting though, because the law is you can't serve alcohol after 2 a.m. Right. There's a number of bars in Philly that just serve till 4 a.m. anyway, but it's good to know that they'll actually be doing it legally this time.
It makes you feel better, right?
It does. Listen, we can't get legalized marijuana here, but we can drink till 4 a.m.
But you can just drive over to Jersey now.
We can drive over to Jersey now. Yeah. Technically you're not supposed to bring it back over the border, just like fireworks. I know you've lamented about, how your human trafficking gets tied up about not being able to go over certain bridges. But I digress. I apologize. Let's get one more story, Brian. You you sent me this this story with just a 3-letter message saying LOL. This is about the grieving parents of a 4-year-old autistic girl who drowned at a Florida Airbnb earlier this month. They are now planning to sue the property rental giant for describing the home as, quote, family friendly, and have called on the homeowner to remove the listing. Kennedy Ray from Atlanta was found at the bottom of a swimming pool at a property her parents were renting in North Miami-Dade County back on March 5th. Her parents, who were asleep when their daughter went out to the backyard and fell into the pool, are calling on the homeowner to remove the listing from all rental sites and plan to follow a lawsuit. Brian, do you think there is any validity to this lawsuit?
None whatsoever. I just feel like there is a sense of responsibility when it comes to your children. Do not leave them alone when there is a pool in the area, and certainly change their diapers and bathrooms.
Now, let me add this and see if it changes your mind. The family's attorney has claimed the property did not have the mandatory safety features required for pools at short-term rentals, such as a safety barrier, safety cover, pool alarm, or a door latch, as stipulated by a Miami-Dade County ordinance.
I think that if that's the case, then I feel like then you're looking at a situation where it really is a Miami-Dade issue where they should be stepping in to see whether this is an area for criminal charges. I don't see this being a civil case.
So you're okay that the child has died?
I'm never okay that a child has died. What I am saying, however, is that I do not believe that this is a criminal case.
Gotcha. Oh, Joanna's saying that's lies. She's saying OJ killed the kid. Interesting.
Well, Ron, as somebody with a private pool, what do you have to say about that?
So I will say, we were required to put a fence around our yard when we put our pool in. All of the fences had to have a certain latch to them. They had to be a certain height.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't have a certain height gap at the bottom, and we did need to place alarms on the doors and windows that led into our pool area.
And is that when you complained about the children?
That was when we threw a kid in to see what would happen.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Interesting.
You don't seem to mind my pool when you're lounging, on a deck chair on the sun shelf, drinking a beer, having me cook for you on the Blackstone.
Oh, I can't wait. It's warming up, Ron, which can only mean one thing. You're going to take the top off the pool. You will treat the water with whatever chemicals they're going to be. And before you know it, I'll be eating a burger, maybe cheeseburger. You know me, I love combining the dairy with the meat. Maybe a cheeseburger sitting in one of those chairs, the water up mid-shin. It's going to be nice.
But the pool's scheduled to be open on May 15th. Made that appointment this week. So
excellent.
Again, what opening a pool is leading to, Brian?
Hot.
It's leading to Hot Podcaster Summer.
Hot Podcaster Summer.
All right. Well, thank you. It is our favorite time of the year.
It is.
Thank you for joining us, folks. We got to go get ready for After Dark. Brian has to get ready for Can You Beat Brian? I have come up with another fantastic topic for this month's trivia game that Brian will be not expecting in any way, shape, or form. So if you haven't joined Patreon yet, as Brian mentioned earlier, go to cultofronandbrian.com, pay the $10, join us for Can You Beat Brian on our pajama party. Brian, anything else before we wrap up this action-packed episode 398?
Nothing to say. I am just genuinely looking forward to After Dark.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you all for joining us. Podcast listeners, we'll catch you next Sunday. Patreon folks, we'll catch you in a few minutes.
Thank you for joining us for the latest episode of The Cult of Ron and Brian. A non-tax deductible contribution can be made by subscribing to our Patreon. Visit cultofronandbrian.com and click on Become a Patron. We'll see you again next week.